soul. Day 1. All right, let's try something else. From the top. Ready? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Stay on the beat. 2, 3, 4. That's a C sharp, horns. 2, 3. I see you, Caleb. Rachel, now you. Forgot my sax, Mr. G. Okay, she forgot her sax. And now, all you, Connie, go for it. Way to go. Hang on. What are y'all laughing at? So Connie got lost in it. That's a good thing. Look, I remember one time my dad took me to this jazz club, and that's the last place that I wanted to be.
Step 1.
1. That's the last sitcom I want to watch. That's the last sitcom I want to watch. 2. That's the last place I want to go. That's the last place I want to go. 3. That's the last thing I want to do. That's the last thing I want to do. 4. That's the last book I want to read. That's the last book I want to read. 5. That's the last thing I want to hear from you. That's the last thing I want to hear from you.
Step 2. 1. This is the last job I want. This is the last job I want. 2. Jason is the last guy I want to see right now. Jason is the last guy I want to see right now. 3. She's the last person I want to talk to right now. She's the last person I want to talk to right now. 4. That's the last movie I want to see. That's the last movie I want to see. 5. That's the last news I want to hear. That's the last news I want to hear. Step 3.
Let's go grab something to eat.
Eating is the last thing I want to do.
Oh, that's right. You said you were on a diet. Day 2. After all these years, my prayers have been answered. A full-time job. Wonderful, wonderful. Working man coming through. Yeah, but Mom, You're going to tell them yes, right? Don't worry, Mom, I got a plan. You always got a plan. Ow! Maybe you need to have a backup plan, too. Ow, ow! For when your plan falls through. A backup plan never hurts. Joey, we didn't struggle giving you an education so you could be a middle-aged man washing your underwear in my shop.
Step 1.
1. We are still here after all these years. We are still here after all these years. 2. After all these years, I finally found out the truth. After all these years, I finally found out the truth. 3. I'm still in love with him after all these years. I'm still in love with him after all these years. 4. After all these years, she finally met her mother. After all these years, she finally met her mother. 5. It's great you and Lisa are still together after all these years. It's great you and Lisa are still together after all these years.
Step 2. 1. Do you still love him after all this time? Do you still love him after all this time? 2. After all this time, I finally did it. After all this time, I finally did it. 3. Getting on the stage still excites me after all this time. Getting on the stage still excites me after all this time. 4. After all this time, we still haven't forgotten our roots. After all this time, we still haven't forgotten our roots. 5. I still think of you after all this time. I still think of you after all this time. Step 3.
Do you remember Gary from high school?
Gary, of course. We still keep in touch after all these years.
You do? Wow, that's amazing. Day 3. Woo, there he is. Hey, Curly. Leon skipping town really puts us in a bind, man. I'll bet. I'm glad you made it. My boy Bishop said he sat in on with you on a set last year in Brooklyn. Said you were great. Well, you know, for a coffee shop. Hey, Dorothea, this is the cat I was telling you about. My old middle school band teacher, Mr. Gardner. Call me Joe, Dorothea. I mean, Ms. Williams. It's a pleasure. Wow, this is amazing. Joe is Ray Gardner's son. So we're down to middle school band teachers now?
Step 1.
1. That's the guy I was telling you about. That's the guy I was telling you about. 2. This is the restaurant I was telling you about. This is the restaurant I was telling you about. 3. This is the dog I was telling you about. This is the dog I was telling you about. 4. That is her, the girl I was telling you about. That is her, the girl I was telling you about. 5. Do you remember the thing I was telling you about? Do you remember the thing I was telling you about?
Step 2. 1. Is this the picture you were telling me about? Is this the picture you were telling me about? 2. Is this the book you were telling me about? Is this the book you were telling me about? 3. I found the cafe you were telling me about. I found the cafe you were telling me about. 4. Did you buy that camera you were telling me about? Did you buy that camera you were telling me about? 5. I met the guy you were telling me about. I met the guy you were telling me about. Step 3.
Do you see that woman in red?
Yes, what about her?
That's the woman I was telling you about. Day 4. I'm Joe Gardner. Look, I'm not supposed to be here. It must have been sudden for you. You see, Joe, I'm 106 years old. Been waiting a long time for this. For what? The great beyond. The great beyond? As in beyond life? Yeah? That's death right there. This beats my dream about the walrus. Exciting, isn't it? No! Listen, I have a gig tonight. I can't die now. Well, I really don't think you have a lot to say about this. Yes, I do. I'm not dying the very day I got my shot. I'm due. Heck, I'm overdue. Nuh-uh. I'm outta here.
Step 1.
1. You must have been tired. You must have been tired. 2. She must have been at home. She must have been at home. 3. That must have been scary. That must have been scary. 4. They must have been talking about us. They must have been talking about us. 5. It must have been love. It must have been love.
Step 2. 1. You could have been nicer to me. You could have been nicer to me. 2. I could have been hit by a bike. I could have been hit by a bike. 3. Kyle could have been a movie star. Kyle could have been a movie star. 4. It could have been worse. It could have been worse. 5. Things could have been different if you had been there. Things could have been different if you had been there. Step 3. I went to Andy's house last night.
That must have been fun.
You bet.
Day 5. You can call me Jerry. Jerry. Okay. Hey, is this heaven? Ha ha, no. Is it H-E double hockey sticks? Hell! 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 Shh! Quiet, coyote. It's easy to get turned around. This isn't the great beyond. It's the great before. The great before? Oh, we call it the U seminar now. Rebranding. Does this mean I'm dead? Not yet. Your body's in a holding pattern. It's complicated. I'll get you back to your group. Come on, little souls. Get on up here. Welcome to the youth seminar. You are in for a treat.
Step 1.
1. Does this mean you don't need it? Does this mean you don't need it? 2. Does this mean I have no chance? Does this mean I have no chance? 3. Does this mean we can't be friends? Does this mean we can't be friends? 4. Does this mean they are officially back together? Does this mean they are officially back together? 5. Does this mean she will go to jail? Does this mean she will go to jail?
Step 2. 1. Does that mean he's not coming? Does that mean he's not coming? 2. Does that mean we'll survive? Does that mean we'll survive? 3. Does that mean I'm crazy? Does that mean I'm crazy? 4. Does that mean she's pregnant? Does that mean she's pregnant? 5. Does that mean they are gone for good? Does that mean they are gone for good? Step 3.
You can take it with you if you want.
Does this mean I can keep it?
Sure.